And hello once more. I'm still back. Still not dead. And Glee, thank you for the well wishes about my top and tail. It did go well. You think you're past caring now. Look, it's a fair call because you get to a certain point and you don't necessarily want to undergo those fairly intensive treatments, even if you are sick, because they A, have a reduced chance of working, and B, can be really debilitating. So I can completely understand your stance on that. I'm just glad I don't have to do anything. Oh man, my brain went the whole way. For anyone who watches this who doesn't know what the fuck I'm talking about, we have this government program in Australia, probably exists in other places around the world. And someone's coming into the kitchen wanting... No? Changed mind? Okay. See, I live stream from the kitchen. You can see the fridge there. So it's an occupational hazard that someone may want to come in. This is about the most out-of-the-way part of the house that has decent Wi-Fi reception, so I do it here. Also because my drinks are here, and I do like to occasionally make a drink. This is blood orange juice and lemonade, but I do have a few things I want to try tonight. I picked this up today. A little sample bottle was in the bottle shop next to the supermarket, like a sample bottle of whiskey from the 23rd Street Distillery. And I've never tried their whiskey. I do have their brandy, which has the delightful name of Not Your Nana's Brandy. But I've never tried their whiskey. And it was only $15. It's like on sale. And I thought that's pretty... Actually, that might be cheaper than buying a big bottle. Raiders, hello, good evening. Now I'm just looking up 23rd Street Distillery. Where are we? We'll just go to their website. Yes, I'm of legal drinking age. Products. We've got products. Whiskey range. Hybrid whiskey. 700 mils. 700 mils. Okay. Will cost me $80. So this was $15. 45. That's a fair bit cheaper than actually buying a full bottle. Man, I'm going to have to go back there and see if they have... Well, I'm going to try it first. 200 mils. This is supposed to retail for $25. So I got it for 15. So that's pretty good. Good way to sample it anyway. We'll see. We'll see what it's like. I don't know what it's like. Raiders hitting it hard with lemon iced tea. Hello, Invisible Chicken and Abigail. So pints, yeah, pint 600 mils, Glee. I think you're right. I'm going to try this. They call it their hybrid whiskey. It's from Adelaide. Come to me from Coles supermarket today. Ooh, it's nice. I was about to say it's very light on the nose, but I gave it a bit of a chance, and it's wafted out. Very interesting. almost like a right. Actually, now I want to look it up. It smells almost like a rye whiskey to me, and they do call it a hybrid. Ooh, nice. Invisible chicken, decaf green tea with lemon cordial. That sounds pretty good. Okay. Going back to the 23rd Street Distillery. I didn't actually even read the description of their hybrid gin. They make a bunch of gins. They make vodka. In fact, they make a few vodkas. They make a few brandies. And they make a rum. So it's just the one whiskey. What do they describe it? Distinctive, unusual, delicious. Toasty oak, like aromas with hints of sweet sherry, are lifted and sweetened by floral, fruity notes, rounded malt-like flavors, rich sherry characters are evident under palate, with a toasty oak and somewhat oily nuttiness to finish. To be savoured neat or with a little water on ice. I shall have it on ice. I'll probably actually taste it at room temperature first, but I'm going to have it on ice a bit later, I think. Robot Man Greg, good evening to you. Glee, you need a whiskey. Well, this cheeky little bottle cost me $15 at the Coles bottle shop today. I just thought, on a lark, why not? Why not, indeed? I get to try their whiskey for not much outlay. And if it's nice, it's going to make me want to go back and potentially get something else or another one. I don't know. We'll see. Sometimes get very good specials at those supermarket bottle shops. The two big supermarkets both tend to have bottle shops next to the supermarket outlets. And they sometimes have quite good specials. And sometimes it's just an in-store thing. Like it's not an advertised special. It's like they had a particular store had an excess of something. So they just go, there we go, have that. And you can pick up it. And it actually just reminded me like, ooh, there was a bottle shop at the outlet mall that often had, and they might have some post-Christmas gift packs on sale. I'm going to have to go there this weekend, I think. Also, because potentially have to get a new fridge because that one's packing it in. And I wouldn't mind getting a bigger one that has a better energy rating. So probably make my electricity bill come down a bit. So I might go to the outlet mall this weekend. Grant, at the moment or by myself? You have reminded me, though, Aidsy did want me to send him the link. I did talk to him earlier today. Although he hasn't popped up recently asking for it, I just email it to him. So he may or may not join us. Yeah, Raiders. I do not often buy from the liquor lane. What was the? I did get from them once. There's like an expensive American bourbon. It's probably not expensive in America. It is in Australia. It's Knob Creek 100 proof bourbon, and it was like $35 off. And I'm like, hell yeah. Abigail, if you can point me to a place that refurbishes fridges for people who need them, I would gladly do that. I would be very happy with the idea of it going to a good home. So we should talk about that and whence I might find such a service. They can hopefully come and pick it up because I do not have a fucking vehicle that could move it around. So we shall see. I gave my credit card a caning this week already paying for my medical procedures because I could have waited who fucking knows how long for the public system. But as I was shitting myself and freaking out at the concept of having bowel cancer, I went, no, thank you, not waiting. And paid to have it done straight away. So I think I ultimately ended up about $800 out of pocket. My private health insurance saved me I don't know how much. But it saved me some. But I just fucking freaked out. And I wanted results now, and I was paying for them. Abigail, yeah, but how long ago did you have it done? Everything's gone to shit because of COVID. All of last year's elective surgeries got put off. So they've literally got 6 months worth of stuff to catch up on. Grant. It's not called impeachment in the Senate with Trump because, yes, Trump did indeed get impeached for a second time by Congress. If the Senate reviews the findings of Congress and then they can choose to convict Trump, and he will already be out of office by the time they reach a decision if they pursue it. But they can then take a second vote to say, our finding is that Trump is not to our finding is Trump is not fit to hold office, and they can ban him for running for office again, and he loses his pension and shit, I think, as well. Glee, you've got something on the public list for the end of March. Well, there you go. See, I was going to lose my fucking mind if I waited that long. Yep. This is what I like. Trump will go down in history as the biggest fucking loser of all the presidents. Lost the popular vote twice. Only had one term. Impeached twice. His first term in office resulted in the Republicans losing the presidency, the House, and the Senate altogether. And he is just the biggest loser. Voting to convict Trump for his incitement to the insurrection. And then, as I said, taking a second vote to bar him from holding future office. And I don't know if anyone saw the speech Trump made after the impeachment. And as I think he must have clearly been told, there are numbers in the Senate of Republicans who think that maybe we should vote to convict you. So if you don't 100% repudiate the violent psychopaths that you whipped up, you're going to end up getting convicted. And he made the most abject loser speech, and they fucking oh my God, they've just whipped him. He's just been whipped. And because Raiders, you say you're not running for office doesn't bother him. I believe you are completely wrong. Not so much because he wants to run for office, but because he wants to run his grift. His whole grift is, they stole the presidency, we're going to take it back, I'm going to run again in 2024. And of course, he can't if he's barred from doing so. Therefore, his grift won't work because there's nothing to raise money for because he can't run for office again. So I also, based on the abject, groveling speech he gave, he is absolutely terrified at the prospect of being convicted by the Senate and blocked from running for office again. They have absolutely humiliated him. He has capitulated completely. He's so fucked. Henry's going to chill to Devon Townsend. I don't know what that is, but I hope you enjoy it. Hellian, hello, Kirsten. And Laura, hello as well. I don't think I said hello to Laura. Yes. Raiders, his kids think they can run a good grift, but they're fucking pathetic, and they will also be very lucky if they are not indicted for various crimes. Ivanka's obviously the front runner because Beavis and Butthead are just nut. They're just nut. So, Kelly Mermaid, good day to you. Henry Dow or Unions? I don't know. I'm pro-union, certainly. I can't speak for other people. That's, yeah. I mean, I think there's a fair chance that the majority of people who watch me feel favorably towards unions. Yes, Laura, you're right. Trump hates being a loser, but that's what he will go down in history. He's absolutely going down as the biggest loser of any president in history. And hello, Megaleech. Glee, you saw a professor of politics talking how much it'll screw up Biden, suggesting leave it on the table for 100 days. Look, Glee, I know I've seen that sort of thing too. I really got to say on that front, nobody knows anything. It's any after what has happened in the 4 years, anyone who says they know what's going to happen, anyone who can say I'm 1,000% confident politically this is the best thing to do, they're full of shit because nothing in the last 4 years, 5 years has made any fucking sense whatsoever. And the more sure someone is of their position, the more I think you should ignore them, quite honestly. Grant, pro-union is different to anti-business. That's true, although I am super anti-capitalist. I guess I am very anti... what would you call what's happening in the world? The neoliberal fucking pirate paradise that exists where these evil fucks just exploit everyone. Whatever we call it, I fucking hate it. Yes, Raiders. Well, there were actually two tweets I saw repeated today that were funny. Don Jr., because Hillary Clinton pathetically said half of Trump's supporters are a basket of deplorables and then back down like a complete fucking coward when put under pressure. And Don Jr., because he's Mr. Quip, said, oh, you know, it's deplorable being impeached. And his dad getting impeached twice in the subsequent 4 years. It's pretty goddamn funny. The other funny one was one of the more obscure Trumps. I don't even know where she fits into the picture. But I think it was the wife of one of the sons, posted this electoral map that is structured to give a very false suggestion of how many people voted for Trump, and then with the line, hey, try and impeach this. Turns out not difficult. Did it twice. It is interesting to know, Glee, what we're going to end up with in terms of vaccines in Australia, Pfizer, Medina. Now it's easy to sort of think, hey, it should be happening faster, but there are all the questions of there are parts of the world, particularly in the developing world, that need the vaccine much more than Australia. Of course, we have to keep being super cautious in Australia until we do get a vaccine, and it would be nice to not have to worry about that. But there are a lot of places in full-on crisis as well. So, I'll go to Henry. Someone tried to steal your motorcycle, did they? That sucks. I hope they didn't succeed. Laura, what do you think? Mitch McConnell's prevented a Senate vote, but next week the Democrats control both houses. Now, here's the thing. I'm not sure about that blocking him from holding office thing. I think there has to be an intervening step. Like, I think after the impeachment, the Senate has to do its vote to convict, which needs a 2/3 majority, which would be very hard, bordering on impossible. And then subsequent to that, they can vote to ban him from standing again. And that only needs a simple majority. I don't know. This is me. I absolutely do not know if you can do that without the Senate conviction vote first. The Queen of England had the vaccine. Of course she would have. They're obsessed in England, and a significant majority of the population in England is obsessed with the royal family. So, oh, Kirsten, you're eating cheese. I had Italian for dinner. So I had cheesy garlic bread, a baked gnocchi truffle cheese thing, and a truffle cheese pizza. Not a whole pizza, a couple slices of truffle cheese pizza. So I've also eaten a lot of cheese this evening. Baked cheese. Grant, you lost a friend in Manila to COVID. Yes, and is through a lot of poorer countries, whether they be in Asia or Africa, seem to be getting shut out, which is not good. Yes, Laura, the UK not good. The rate of infection and death in the UK is quite frightening. Oh, you're scared off the bogan thieves. Your son's a mutant. So, hat tip to your son, apparently, for being super scary and chasing off motorcycle thieves. Good job. Oh, damn. Visible Chicken, you got a friend in America. His whole family was infected. Yeah. And this is the thing. Everyone had this psychological thing that 2020 was the bad year, and now we've got a vaccine, we're fine. I don't see, in places that are really hard hit, which is like almost everywhere. It's not us, fortunately, but it's almost everywhere else. I don't see a vaccine making a significant dent in the infection rate or death rate in the first half of this year. I think things are going to get much worse in the coming months. And I mean fucking much worse. I really, really, really hope I'm wrong. That's a thing I want to be wrong about in a big way. But that's what I see as the most likely. I see Kirsten Sarah, I love just having a big cheese plate. Brie, camembert, cheddar, native pepper cheese, nice. I think I've mentioned before, there's two cheeses I found at Costco where I was really surprised at the quality of them. There's an English cheese called Wookiee Hole, which is probably the best straight cheddar I've ever had. And they also have a truffle cheddar that's incredible. So I like cheese too. Henry Dart. Yes, I did see Schwarzenegger's video. Considering, Schwarzenegger is a conservative Republican, but fucking hates Trump's bullshit. It's something to see. Yes, Glee. There's probably going to be considerably more work on vaccines over the course of this year, because Henry did the writing at the White House. That video he made, where he referenced Kristallnacht and other things, and he's not really got time for Trump's bullshit. So chicken, your mum refuses to become vegan because of cheese. I would have a very hard time going vegan because of cheese and dairy generally. I like dairy products. I'm very lazy and don't go vegetarian, even though I know I should, because I'm grossly unfit. And it would be much better for me. And it's better environmentally as well. I'm just, really fucking lazy and like eating dead animals. Unlike Army Hammer, allegedly, who wants to eat people. People! It's made of people! Henry, do you do keto? I'm not sure how sustainable keto is. Again, literally not sure. Maybe it's completely sustainable for an extended period. I do not know. I mean, Kirsten, you're flexitarian. I assume that means you try to maintain vegetarian, but you're flexible. Oh yeah, no, Grant, I'm not going to eat that fake cheese. I don't hate myself. I love cheese. I really do. It's very bad. Oh, that's interesting, Glee. Coles has a cheese with vegan rennet. Yeah, I don't know. That's the devil's work, as far as I'm concerned. The absolute devil is behind that. So, oh, nice. Invisible Chicken doing a self-defense class. That sounds good. Get good. You can be my bodyguard because, I'm old and creaky and need someone to protect me. So I will hire you as a bodyguard. Because you're about 60-40. I think Mrs. Angry is at least 60-40. Like, she's way better with vegetables than me. Like, I grew up not eating vegetables at all as a little shit. Mrs. Angry has gotten me to eat much more vegetables over the last couple of years. I even do this thing for lunch a lot. Because I found this bakery that makes really good baguettes, and I get like half a baguette, and I just like shallow pan fry some simple veggies like onion, capsicum, mushroom, just like shallow, more or less stir fry, and put them in the baguette, and it's so yummy. Abigail, you are vegetarian. That's right. Yes. Managed to affront you by suggesting you drink bacon bourbon because I'm an idiot. I'm an idiot. Oh, nice. Henry. Is that your own birthday present for turning 41? Bought a guitar and amp bundle, $800? Yeah. You spoil yourself. You deserve it. Treat yourself. So it's good to treat yourself from time to time. Just thinking, like, how vegetarian was I today? I had cereal for breakfast, and I had my vegetable baguette for lunch. Oh no, it did have some. I had some leftover chicken, so I was just using it up to not waste it. It did have chicken on it. It's usually vegetarian, but I had a little bit of chicken. And dinner was vegetarian. Unhealthy as fuck. Pizza. And a gnocchi baked thing and garlic bread. Super fucking unhealthy. But vegetarian. So the only meat I ate today were a couple tiny pieces of chicken. There you go. Still really unhealthy. Nice, Kirsten, you were sad today. No, it's not nice that you were sad today. Nice, you good boy. Were you here when I got this? I was in the Coles bottle shop. Little sample bottles of 23rd Street distillery products for $15. So I got their hybrid whiskey, which I've never tasted. I'm about to taste. Oh, Henry, lamb chop dripping. I do like, cooking in the fat from other things you've cooked, whether it be bacon or lamb chops or whatever. Oh, wow. Glee, it's hard to buy food for John because he's gluten intolerant vegetarian. That is difficult. So, if I like this, I'm probably going to go back and get more because I didn't look that closely. I think all they had was this and the Not Your Nana's brandy, and I've got like a full bottle of Not Your Nana's brandy there because I like it. That's a good drink. Sunbear, hello. Oh, yeah. The dairy industry is really unpleasant because this is my stupid fucking brain. I didn't know until relatively recently cows had to be pregnant or recently pregnant to produce milk. So they keep impregnating the cows and taking the calves away. It was relatively recently I discovered that, and I felt very fucking stupid and ignorant for not knowing it sooner. Ooh, Henry on the Jamisons. Nice. Yes, Laura, it is very funny that Trump's not on Twitter. He's just been pulverized and he can't even go on Twitter and bitch about it. As people have pointed out, he could hold a press conference anytime. He could talk to the world, a power that almost no one has, except he's too fucking scared to because he knows the questions he'd get, and he's a weak, pathetic, spineless sack of shit. He's just fucking awful. Is the concept that Trump's being censored? It's like, motherfucker can go and talk to the entire fucking world whenever he wants. It's just he's just a piece of shit. Ooh, nice Glee. Yes. Again, look, I have to stress. I don't know. This could have just been the local, like literally my local Coles doing that. I don't know if it's an across the board thing. They may have just had some samples of this that they put out. That happens sometimes. Only one shop has them, but you never know. Yes, Claire, I did see the John Barron account, Trump's alter ego. That was pretty funny. And yes, Laura, the news channels being able to just not air his lies anymore. They all felt compelled because he was the president. And it was only in the last 6 months that they would cut in going, that's just not true. That thing he's saying is just not true. And now he's lost. They hopefully can wean themselves off the Trump controversy and just not give him oxygen, because that's what he wants. Henry, that sounds wild. Jalapeno chorizo mozzarella omelet. You're a beast. You're a beast for the hot stuff. Not me. I am with sriracha. No, dude, I'm a fucking wuss. There's no way I'd eat that. I am a wuss with hot stuff. Sunbear, good tip. If you want something to convince you to be vegetarian or vegan, watch Dominion documentary. There is, you look into a bit of the meat and dairy industry, and they're pretty fucked. They're pretty evil. And so I'm pretty fucked and evil for continuing to eat meat and dairy. I admit it, I'm weak and evil. Oh. Raiders, apparently it barely counts as a hack that someone got all the data off Parler, which was the fascist alternative to Twitter or Facebook. Apparently the thing was so badly designed, it was like trivially easy for them to set up admin accounts and then scrape all the data, and they had location data on all their fucking knuckle-dragging users, all the people who are openly talking about their plot to attack the Capitol, and which, when they go on trial and someone's handed this to the FBI, that puts premeditation into their crime. Like they do the whole, it's the rush of blood, I didn't know. I go, here's 2 weeks of public posts where you talked about what you were going to do. That's not rush of blood. That's a premeditated felony. And that ought to be funny. I think it's funny that there's been multiple cases of family members ratting out their shitty family. Like, hey, yeah, this picture, this is Joe Bloggs of 10 Main Street. Like, it's my dad, it's my brother, it's my cousin. He's a piece of shit, you know. Hey, FBI, he lives here. Come and arrest him. Henry, that is the big question. How do so many people fall victim to so much Trump rhetoric? There are precedents for it throughout history. Just rampant populism, people being taken in by a demagogue. It happens again and again and again. Oh yeah, Raiders. All the images and videos had the EXIF data. It had all the metadata that gave basically the GPS coordinates of when the image and video was taken. It's fucking ridiculous. Somebody used to work on a best case scenario farm, humane animal agricultural myth. It is pretty rough, and it's just humans. I tell you what's really fucking shit. If you want real nightmare stuff, look into live animal exports. Something Australia does a lot of, and it's fucking barbaric. It is nightmarish. It's really bad. Henry, I don't get why people do it either, but they do. And we just have so many cases throughout history of people being suckered by demagogues who are spouting absolute lies, and in many cases easily provable lies. But it isn't important it's a lie if it conforms with someone's worldview. That's all they want. They want to be validated. They don't want the truth. They want to feel validated. So, you know what? I think it's time to taste this. Maybe I got something really dodgy, and I mean really dodgy, just for a laugh because it sounded ridiculous. I'll show you. I'm sure there was a time when every joint in my body did not ache when I moved. This is German. It's like a flavored vodka. And there's a whole lot of really bizarre flavors they have. I bought a bubblegum one of these, I don't know, a year or so ago, and it was terrible. It was terrible. And this one's called Cocoa Biscuit, and I just couldn't resist. And I'm a bit of an idiot. Oh, Laura, you've got to go. Thanks for dropping in. Yes, Laura, I do intend to have an open hangout on Friday if you're up for it. So we'll see. So, yeah, it's got this funny wax topping on it. Oh, my God, it smells like biscuits. It's very vanilla-y. Ooh. Henry, have I seen Secret River, an ABC production? I don't think so. As in, I'm pretty sure no. It smells interesting. It actually tastes okay. Absurdly sweet, as I thought it would be. What's the alcohol content of this? I don't even know. I've got, it's only 15% alcohol. Now I'll put some on ice. Make like dessert drinks with this. Raiders, yeah, there was the religion aspect taking up trouble, even though American religion has been so corrupted because, I mean, Trump's obviously an atheist and obviously evil. Like, he's obviously actively evil. And those really despicable evangelical churches in America who latched onto him just because he would give them the power to enact their really fucked agendas. So they just do this gross hypocritical thing of supporting a sick, disgusting individual while saying they're Christian. Absolutely contemptible. Henry, getting your feed ready. Sounds good, man. All right, so what does this taste like chilled? It's actually not bad. God, it's better than the bubblegum one. The bubblegum one's terrible. I've still got some of it left. Henry, do I believe we come from nothing? I believe there are some things that for most of us, our psyche is not capable of understanding. And what were we before we existed is a fucking huge one. It is an absolutely fucking huge one. Yeah, Henry, it is a really good question. How can something come from nothing? And this is where I've read some of the more sort of cutting edge and weird scientific theories. And I think a fundamental thing is the common human perception of time as a one-way linear thing is not real. It's just our perception of how things are happening. And it gets quite complex. There's this idea that the shape of the universe is a torus, which is basically a donut. And the Big Bang, everything's been spreading out since the Big Bang, but on a long enough timeline, which is a timeline that is so long, it's literally impossible for humans to comprehend it, like trillions of years. Everything that expanded is going to come around in a torus and collapse in to a singularity and then explode out again. There's this idea that essentially time and existence is not linear. It's a cycle. And I freely admit it's beyond me. But yes, there's always this thing how, Henry, what made the Big Bang? And there's, to the best of my knowledge, no good answer to that. But I think a fundamental aspect of it is how humans perceive time, like as in a linear thing, is not how time exists. Henry, these aren't even theories. These are hypotheses. A theory has been tested and has supporting evidence. And there are some interesting cutting-edge scientific theories, but you're getting really, really interesting when you get into the hypotheses. And Henry, I'm not sure if you're going... And I don't want to put words in your mouth, but this, it is something I've seen often. People saying like, "Oh, well, what made the Big Bang?" And say, "God did." Well, what made God? So, from a human perception of time as a linear thing, there was always something before the first thing you can think of, unless the concept of linear time is false and it's actually cyclical. Yeah, Henry, the marble on the neck of the cat in Men in Black. There's the, if you're only able to perceive things as cause and effect, what made this happen? What happened before that happened? So what happened before that happened? So what happened before that happened? If you're only able to perceive things as cause and effect, then you can never answer that question, because logically, if everything's linear, if everything's cause and effect, there must have been a beginning, except there can't be a beginning, because what made the beginning happen? So the concept of linear time, I mean, you only have to look at it logically, and it starts to become clear that the concept of linear time and everything being the product of cause and effect can't be true, because it doesn't make any sense. And you can go down some wild rabbit holes thinking about this thing, which honestly, is a good thing. Yeah, Sunbear, what's on the other side of the end of the universe? If the universe ends, well, there must be something past the end, so it doesn't end. But again, that's the idea of the universe as a torus. TORUS, not the star sign. So from the Big Bang, it goes out and then collapses back in. into a singularity again, then the Big Bang again, and out and in, and it's an endless cycle. So it's like I someone far smarter than me could correct me if I'm wrong with that, but I believe that that's like at the core of most scientific thought on the matter, the concept of linear time, everything being a result of cause and effect, is essentially very flawed. Humans have an tendency to see themselves as the center of existence, which to a large extent makes sense. What else is there? There's us, baby, top of the tree. Ooh, that's a fun one, Abigail. It's not a torus. It's expressed as non-Euclidean space. It's been shown almost certainly space is flat and Euclidean, and I don't even know what that means, because you're smarter than me. And Henry, that's another possibility that time passes different. It's a possibility. There are multiple dimensions and time passes differently in multiple dimensions. But as Abigail points out, you can't actually show that. That's hypothesizing. And I know multi-dimensional physics is some wild stuff. I've watched some stuff like really smart people like Brian Cox trying to explain it and doing quite a good job of explaining it, because I was getting like 90% of it, but there were little bits of it that I'm like, you what now? What was that? That? Oh, geez. That sounded pretty wild. But have you ever seen a jellyfish? That shit's crazy. What's that song? That's pretty wild. Now I want the lyrics. I want the lyrics to that song. Have you ever seen a jellyfish lyrics? By Slowly. That's pretty weird, right? That's pretty strange. Have you ever seen a jellyfish? That shit's crazy. That's such silly lyrics. I love it. Aussie ASMR, quantum physics proves time moves linearly and also fluid at the same time. I don't know that it does any such thing. And that's, again, stress, I don't know. What I do know is that this stuff is actually better than I thought it was going to be. You may ask yourself, why did you buy something that you had a strong suspicion was going to be terrible? Because I just get in weird moods sometimes and I want to buy a weird thing. But this is just pretty straightforward. Some whiskey. So I'm going to get an appropriate glass. Oh. Oh. God damn it. What's wrong with my hips? It's probably a sex injury. Okay. So, 23rd Street Distillery. Hybrid whiskey. Put a decent dram in there. Heidi-ho, Annette. Nice to see you. So, whiskey I scored at the Coles bottle shop today. It's $15 for a sample bottle, which seems like a good deal. Glee, I don't know is a good answer. I want to know is a good answer. Does have that typical whiskey aroma. Just slightly burning the nostril hairs. It's almost, it's like slightly smoky. It's not quite vanilla. Almost like a burnt caramel flavor. Aussie ASMR, is 2021 going to be the next renaissance of angry Aussie or calm this year? I don't know, man. I don't know that it's. We had this discussion. I don't know if it's worth my while to do it. I'm enjoying the cocktail thing at the moment, but I like that, Shieldsy. Going to do stock photos, videos online. Daddy needs a boat. Nice. Ah, nice. Annette on his second Singapore sling. Oh, it's really gentle going down. Oh, very warming. It's very okay. I'm going to put some ice in, see what flavors some melting ice brings out. Ooh, maybe put some Death Star ice in there. A little sphere of ice in. That's no moon. You probably can't see the patterning in that, but it's actually got really neat Death Star. See the little thing in there? It's got really neat Death Star. Oh, that was stupid. Physics. Drop the ice in, and of course it splashed back and sent whiskey everywhere. Oh, so Abigail, are you in the mood to come on at all and explain some science stuff? Because I'm in the mood now. I think it'd be fun. So I got my Death Star floating in whiskey. Just let it chill it a bit. Just get a little bit of dilution happening as well. Shieldsy, how many insides? I did an actual poo. If anyone's been waiting for that news, after fucking Tuesday night's horrible evacuation, and then Wednesday morning's procedure, then nothing happened, and then this afternoon did a poo. Oh yeah, no, somebody, as you say, crows know about what it's. I knew about it. The ice slipped out of my finger and sploosh. Oh. Ooh. That's very interesting. Like the initial taste is very mild. Wait, I thought I put the link in. How distracted am I? There it is. Yeah. So this 23rd Street whiskey, the initial taste is very mild. Little bit of sharpness as it goes down. Shieldsy, making love to my drink. That's the line from the Billy Joel song. Piano Man, there's an old man in the corner next to me, making love to his tonic and gin. And speaking of a good tonic and gin, here's Dr. Abigail.
Hello.
Hello.
Speaking of which, I think I might grab a drink myself.
Yeah, do it. Well, I might turn this into an old-fashioned, actually. Where's my bitters is here. Do I want... Yeah, I'll use a Garvey. I've got a Garvey here. which just means putting a little bit more whiskey in my glass, just a little.
Yeah. Oh no.
Oh no,
Things we do.
just a splash. And I've got my orange there, so I can put a peel on, which is a thing I like to. Little bit of bitters.
Cheers.
Cheers. Might just do a spoon of agave syrup as well.
So you had some science questions.
I was fascinated by the way you described Euclidean space. Can you explain
that
for a dumbass like me?
Okay, sure. So Euclidean space is like exactly how our monkey brains perceive space.
Cool.
Parallel lines are always parallel and never meet. Everything and like extrapolate that to 3 dimensions. Everything acts exactly as you would think it does.
Now there are perceptions.
Yes, there are 2 versions of non-Euclidean space. They have names named after the people who conceived of them. One of which is they're both called curved space or Minkowski space, I think, where it's either I forget the name of the concept. I'm not a physicist, but space could be curved inwards or outwards. And picture this. You're an ant, right?
Yes.
And the world is pretty much flat. An ant could walk for its entire life and never really encounter the curve of the earth. But we know the earth is curved. Now, if we extrapolate that to the size of the universe in 4 dimensions, we could be sitting here in our 3-dimensional universe and we could go our entire lives and never encounter the curvature of the universe.
The 4th dimension.
But we could be living in this 3-dimensional universe, which is like an orange skin around an orange.
Yes.
And the universe could be curved as a sphere, and yet in our like the skin of the universe is like this 3-dimensional orange skin.
Yep. Okay.
So that is curved space. And it could be curved inwards as well, and it looks kind of like a saddle. I can't explain that at all. I've seen people who are experts in this say almost certainly space is flat, and there is no curve. So there is no higher dimension, no 4th dimension that we can't perceive. We're not in flat land for 3-dimensional beings. It's most likely space is flat and Euclidean. And so parallel lines is an interesting case because in a curved universe, when you look at parallel lines on a globe, they are not parallel the whole time, and yet they meet at the poles. Like so that's a positively curved universe. Negatively curved universe, parallel lines diverge. And to us ants in this universe, parallel lines are just parallel lines. So, but on the scale of the universe, if the universe were curved, parallel lines could converge or diverge. But they've shown that space is probably flat.
I love that it's probably, because it's what humans can perceive.
Yes, nothing. Look, but it depends on your degree of certainty. It could be 99%. That's probably. No scientist worth their salt will say something with total certainty, unless it's like something so basic or a fundamental law, which which is not up for debate. Laws, axioms are measurable, and we can and they're fundamental, whereas theories and proofs rely on those laws. It's just a thing. Like the law of gravity, we know quite well, but the theory of gravity is up for interpretation.
Yeah, and I have heard some pretty trippy arguments about how space-time can affect gravity as well.
It's quite simple. Like Einstein showed how gravity, in general relativity, how gravity works. Well, not really. I go too far when I say that. He showed the best theory about how energy and mass is just energy warp space, and that creates an acceleration, which is what we call gravity. And gravity and acceleration are indistinguishable. There is absolutely no way, no measurement that you can take to distinguish between acceleration and gravity. They are exactly the same.
Okay. Hey, speaking of black holes, it's AZ.
Hello.
Hello. But the fundamental how does gravity work? The two popular theories are quantum loop gravity and string theory, both of which have giant holes in them because we just don't know enough.
Problems.
Yeah.
Testability being one.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Show me a string. No.
Yeah. And
too little, and you can only see the effects. What, like the quiet secret dragon I've got in my garage? Like God.
My money's on quantum loop gravity because
makes more sense.
Yeah. It makes more sense to me, but like I'm not a physicist at all.
See, then you get into pixelated time, and that fucking
well, quantum, that's
well.
what like anything beyond anything smaller than the Planck scale, and that includes time, Planck time, Planck seconds, or whatever you want to call them, like they just don't make sense. Like it's like doesn't mean anything to measure something smaller than that.
At some point, it's got to come into some form of existence from something. There has to be a causal relationship for it to be. And where are we? And it's okay because look, physics is not yet complete, and that's okay. We know that quantum is fucking good. It's fucking better than Six Sigma, which always sucks.
Yes, quantum. Yeah.
You know, quantum has never failed. It has never ever failed. It is always predicted to almost certain.
Yes.
I almost.
Well, when you hear a scientist say probably, it means they're almost certain, but there's always wiggle room. There's always like between 1 and 0.001% chance that something new will happen, or like But
there was a really good show of Adventure Time with Finn and Jake, and Finn was running around being pursued by the quantum cat. It was going to eat him, and the quantum cat was, I know almost certainly where you're hiding, and Finn shitting himself and like bolting from stalactite to stalactite, trying to hide from the quantum cat, which was bouncing around all over the place, going, I almost know exactly where you are. And Finn's going, oh, fuck. And then
that's funny.
Comes through and saves the day.
Well, I mean, if the cat had have measured his speed, then there was no way that the cat could have determined his location, or vice versa.
I love the jokes in Adventure Time. Because it's the shorts that were originally on YouTube. They were all maths jokes. They were just all really arcane maths jokes. And,
O.J. Simpsons and especially Futurama had some of the best maths jokes in it.
Yeah.
Oh, that Kentucky Derby one where it was a dead heat and they used a quantum microscope to judge. And Farnsworth, you changed it by observing it.
Yeah. My favorite maths joke from Futurama is the cinema, which had the symbol. It's a Hebrew letter, but it's Elish null. I think it's the first infinity.
Yeah.
It's the smallest infinity, which is like okay. But it was it was called that the symbol Elish null plex. So it was like the infinity plex.
Yeah, the Googleplex. I think they call that on.
Well, the Googleplex was in The Simpsons, I think.
Yeah,
which was also a great maths joke.
Yeah, just because the cinemas were getting bigger and bigger in America, and there's some that have 30 or 40 screens in them. So it's just called the Googleplex.
The Googleplex. Well, the Googleplex is a number.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, and hello, Cylon ate my homework.
Of zeros.
I assume from the way you're saying greetings from the shit show of the world, you mean America. And Noog, hello, Noog.
Hi, Noogs. Cylon's
I want to know what this
The number of times I went to my teachers and said, I got fucking attacked by Cylons in the middle of the night, and they ate my homework while trying to kill me. Here are the stab wounds. And my teachers would go, you went out gang fighting with your friends and got fucked up on drugs and got stabbed by a gang. And I went, that may have happened, and you didn't do your homework. Also could have happened, but I am putting my money on the Cylons. And she said, you might have seen the Cylons, but I think you still got stabbed by guys you were fighting with. Yeah. I'm going, well, I think the point is moot because someone ate my homework and therefore it's not ready and I'll just have to do it again.
Yeah, and the big lesson we learned from Battlestar Galactica.
Friday. I'm going, oh, fuck.
Big lesson we learned from Battlestar Galactica is you got to do it doggy style so you can tell if you're having sex with a sapient robot that's actually going to kill your whole species. Because bloody Baltar would have known. No, in flashbacks when Baltar was having sex with the blonde Cylon, her back lit up. So her spine lit up. And so if Baltar had just done it doggy style, he would have gone, hang on, something's up.
He would have seen. Well, she wouldn't have let him, I guess.
Knowing Baltar, he would have gone,
he would have finished. He would have finished and then said, so what was that all about? And she goes, like, I'm a robot. And he's going, cool.
Yeah. Or he just would have gone, I'm just the best ever because I can make chicks backlight up.
Okay, why does no one remember that about Battles? Annette's saying she doesn't remember that.
I remember that bit.
I don't remember that at all.
I remember that. And I thought, interesting. Yeah, that'd be a bit of a.
I'm due for a rewatch of Battlestar Galactica, so maybe I'll keep an eye out for that.
It's
the flashbacks to just before things happen. It was
I know what. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. I just don't remember any Cylon backsliding up like that.
She was number 6? The blonde?
Yes. Yeah, she was number 6.
Yeah. But there was this whole thing where she's on top and red lights are lighting up on her back. So.
And it was number 3.
Oh, it was apparently it was in episode 1.
There you go. Yep. So so that was a thing, and which I always thought was really strange when you're trying to be a flawless copy of a human. To have your backlight up when you're having sex is a real design flaw.
Well, you know how you can't squeeze a pimple on your back.
Yeah.
You might not be able to see lights light up on your back.
I squeeze pimples on my back all the time.
Yeah, no, but not all of them, and sometimes you can't reach.
And right on your spine.
Oh,
You've got more
I
flexible arms than me. If you can do
yeah,
that.
I'm hyper flexible, so
Oh,
I can
okay.
reach all that shit. So I'm
Did
looking
you hear
at.
that, ladies? Sorry.
Yeah.
Did you hear that, ladies? That's a little advertisement from Abigail.
I can reach all kinds of places. So yes, her spine lit up, and production crew said that it just looked cool.
Of
and
course, that's why they did it.
in retrospect, may have been a mistake.
Yeah. Yeah.
At the time,
pretty silly.
and they just put in a special effect for
It wasn't a
for
mistake.
no reason.
It was a very cool thing.
So according to the novelization, their spines glow in the infrared spectrum, which would mean that it would require special equipment to see.
So humans wouldn't see it anyway.
Yeah, they might feel it depending on how incandescent it was in the IR spectrum.
Yeah, but that you just feel your lover was very hot.
Which is a thing you would hope for anyway.
Exactly.
So I was going to ask before, but I never got a chance. What have you got against quantum foam?
Who's got against quantum foam?
What? Yeah. Where did that come from?
Well, I was purporting that your quantum foam had quite a bit of energy stored upon it, inside it. And Dr. Abigail was giving it a bit of no.
I'm not sure what you're talking about.
No, that sounds like a
against quantum foam.
So you're saying basically that I've libeled you, slandered you, and that I should shut the fuck up.
Not at all. I think you might be
posing as physicist.
Well, I remember having a disagreement about the ground effect, and you calling it a boundary layer, which it's not. It's the ground effect. A boundary layer is like microscopic.
It only fucking works because of fucking boundary layer. Fuck.
No.
One fucking video,
no, it's a turbulent ground effect. A boundary layer in fluid dynamics is tiny.
And without it, you can't get separation, which will give you your lift. You can't get your vortexal separation without your boundary layer. You just can't have it. If there's no boundary layer, then it'll just flow around.
I'm sure there's boundary layer effects in the ground effect, but it's called the ground effect.
Ground effect is not necessarily a boundary layer in and of itself, because boundary layer is only tiny. But because of boundary layer, because of its different speed, it's quickened speed, you turbulate, great word.
It's a word now.
I think we should have it as a word.
Yeah, I agree.
Turbulate all the air that was quite happily sitting there going, hello, I'm Molecule. What do you do? Do you hang around here much? I was once in the stratosphere, but I just thought I'd get fat and come down here and to the biosphere and hang out in trees. And whoa, what the fuck is that? And then
I'm gonna have to look up the ground effect now, because I don't know enough about it too. But I do know that I think the my educated guess is that, because I'm a computer scientist, that's my field. I'm not a physicist.
And he tells me nothing.
I'm pretty sure the ground effect, the boundary layer on the surface of the whatever you're flying over, it has a tiny effect on the ground effect. I'm
Well,
pretty sure it's
basically
more
what
to
it-
do with the turbulence from the wing and your method of propulsion.
you
Um,
basically your boundary layer upsets and rips apart the air under it because it's going so quickly underneath. Okay, so we know how wing's shaped. It's fatter on the top than it is on the bottom.
Yes.
So the air on the top has to go faster.
So it's lower pressure. It's the Bernoulli effect.
The Bernoulli effect. And so the air on the top has lower pressure than the air on the bottom.
Creates lift.
Pushed up.
Yes.
Right. So the air on the bottom is compressed. And as it goes past the normal air just sitting there being air, the fluid effect is that it's like a frictional effect and causes eddies and whirlpools in a turbulent flow. The turbulent flow grows rapidly, right? But in a normal height of wing flight, it doesn't matter shit because your turbulent flow could be 20 meters down and no one gives a fuck because it's just you got 3,000 feet below you.
And it's only like as you're a couple of feet above
of your wing span above the ground or above the surface.
Whatever. It can be water as well.
Turbulent air gives you all kinds of buoyancy.
Yes, and lift.
And if you can keep it nice and
the Russians built a plane just taking advantage of,
and they built this fucking enormous one. It was like 3 times as big as a 747. And the idea was you could put fucking tanks and troops on it. It would fly faster, as fast as the speed of sound at sea level, underneath all kinds of radar.
Like 4 or 5 feet above the water.
The fuel savings are incredible. You get amazing fuel efficiency out of them, and you could all of a sudden hit. And because they also go on ground, they go across sea, but they also they're a boat plane really. But you could hit the ground and do a land invasion so fast with a gazillion troops and tanks and fucking tents and cans of Russian Pepsi. That basically you'd be there and they'd be going, fuck, what do we do now? It's the off season. We haven't got the motels open. We don't take rubles. And, they'd be fucked. And then, of course, they ran out of Soviet. So there's still people trying to get the Ukraine plane going because it would be, a fairly cool thing to carry cargo around in, and B, it would be the ultimate fucking rich man yacht. Because you could stick 100 of your favoritist guests. Fucking William Gibson wrote a book where the rich guy buys an chronoplane.
Oh, Stella.
Stella, I'm turned on too. Because fucking Telstra cut off my phone because they were dicks. And we found out that somebody turned on email bills. Jesus fuck. Anyway,
so a friend of mine on Facebook posted a funny thing that had to do with Lord of the Rings, which contained a couple of inconsistencies, and boy, were they sorry. I wrote a novel. I just
fucking nailed it.
Firstly, blah 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 blah. Greyhavens are not in Valinor; they're on Middle Earth. Secondly, it was great, and like Yeah.
I
So
was
I've been
having fun at
nerding
some
out
point.
all day. And
Yeah.
if anyone has any more physics questions, I'm happy to attempt an answer.
I was having a lot of fun with Star Wars critics saying,
Oh,
this is what's wrong with Star Wars and this is what's wrong with Star Wars. And I'd either write in under a puppet sock or a sock puppet, sorry, or I'd just fucking... And anyway, what I'd do is I'd go through and put the trucks through the holes. And one of the last ones was they have a scene in the movie where bombs fall out of a bomber onto a big old ship. And they say, oh, there's no gravity in space. And I replied, heard of springs? ? Also, tractor beam technology was shown in the first movie. And the last question I always put up is, tell you what, when you put your $400 million movie up next to their $400 million movie, I'll take you more seriously. Good day.
I said good day, sir.
And it usually shuts them down. It's always been my favorite argument, oh, this is fucked, and this is fucked, and this is fucked. Well, you paid $12.50. They paid $400 million.
Yeah.
Who are you
I
going
did
to go
see.
with?
I saw a TikTok I liked today with a young lady is saying why Padme was the toughest character in any Star Wars movie because she calculated the force on Padme's coochie when she jumped off that pole and landed on the back of a beast. And she's just going on gravity and her height and the distance. And she's going, so her coochie absorbed a force that's 10 times what it would take to break a femur. So therefore, she's like indestructible. She's the toughest character in the Star Wars universe.
Well,
they can take a pounding.
I'm just
very much so.
Just saying.
As Betty White once said, she didn't understand why people say have some balls. Have you seen vaginas? They can take a pounding.
Yeah.
Testicles
Betty
are
White
like
would know.
Yeah. Whereas testicles are just like fragile and
I think she's left many a testicle worse for wear over the years.
Betty White in her day was considered the baddest girl in Hollywood. Lindsay Lohan had fucking nothing on Betty White. But the beauty of it was Betty White would always come back and be in the next movie fresh as a daisy, ready to roll. And the papers were full of what fuck Betty White was up to this weekend. And she'd go, yeah, next movie. And everyone was going, what the fuck? She got caught doing cocaine with a producer and was going to get arrested. And said, well, if you're going to arrest me, you were better arrest, and started naming names like the mayor, the commissioner of police, and various other people. And they went, let's just let this go. Let's just let this go. And I think there were 3 judges there as well. And she had invited them all for the specific reason that she thought there might be papers there. And they all showed because it's Betty White. And who's going to fucking say no, right? And it was a huge party. And they went, yes.
Sorry,
I want to respond to Henry, who thinks he thinks he like knows what he's talking about quarks. Can they they're a quantum particle? They're in many places at once, but we know what they are. We've detected them. We've measured them.
And the further you try and pull them apart, the harder they push together.
Oh yeah, that the flux, that gluon field.
The more you try,
forms
this
a flux
is why
tube.
they say gluons are a thing, because the more you try and pull a quark, because they say, why can you have 3? Why is there always 3? Well, there's always 3 because
in a hadron,
without the one, if you have one of those things
that's the strong
expansion, that you need more and more and more force. And as you pull them apart so they become unitary, you get to use so much force that you run out of force in the universe.
No. So what happens? So what actually happens is you have two or three quarks connected by a flux tube, which is mediated by the gluon field, and you have to put energy, lots and lots of energy, to pull them apart. But if you pull them apart far enough, you've put so much energy into the gluon field that it actually creates two more quarks. Creates.
That's it. You can't have a single quark. If you have a single quark, it'll pop two more into existence straight away. I
don't know about that. You may be right, but
it's because, all I know is because of the energy that's needed to have one quark on its own. It has enough energy to pop those other two straight away, touching it into existence, ready to roll, and permanently. And this is one of the things that they're speculating about how the universe is expanding, is that as you pull apart, you're popping more and more quarks into existence.
That's a hypothesis.
It's just speculation. It's just a speculation.
But like, because hadrons, protons and neutrons, they're composed of three quarks, but those three quarks make up a small percentage of the mass of those hadrons. It's the energy in those flux tubes that hold the quarks together is like the vast majority of the mass of those particles. And Henry is just tripping balls.
That's okay.
With some of these,
I think actually Henry might be
some of
hitting
these
the ball.
questions.
Who knows? But my one I wanted to go in. My one I wanted to go into.
I do encourage science, and we are in a solar system.
Yes.
And float into galaxy sinus system. I don't know what.
I think we could just let that go. My one I wanted to get into was time, like in the sense of what existed before the Big Bang, what will exist after the end of the universe.
Well, I mean, first, because I'll probably be simpler. Is that fair, Dr. Abigail?
Give it a go.
Yeah.
Before the universe, which we take to be the Big Bang.
Yeah.
All right. We're going to say there's either another universe which our universe bubbles out of, or we're going to say there's a collision between two brains, which you can say is two universes if you want, right? Making it simple here, Or you can say there's a whole bunch of quantum foam and there's a bubble in it. Time, as a result, has no actual meaning because there's no exchange of energy or entropy. There's no potential, there's no rundown, there's no heat going anywhere. And then all of a sudden, there's a fuckload of heat going somewhere. And as soon as you've got heat going somewhere, as soon as you've got entropy, right, you've got time, because entropy is an arrow that goes one way. It's a dimension that goes one way, and therefore you've got time flowing. You've got time as you and I experience time, going from little babies to big old men. You've got time going one way because you've got the running down of heat coming from potential and concentrated to dissipated. Thankfully, there's a lot more heat energy to go, so we don't have to worry about it just yet. But Shell is in trouble in about 23 billion years. So as soon as you've got a situation where you've got entropy happening, you've got time going. At the end of the universe, when there's heat death, when there's no more heat left, and we're at 0 Kelvin, time stops. There's no more arrow of time. There's nothing moving. There's nothing to be or to do. So the arrow is finished and your time is over. How'd I go, Dr. Ab?
None of what you said made any sense.
Okay.
Sorry?
None of what you said made any sense, to me at least.
What's your view?
And it
Counterpoint.
was so good too.
So I know nothing about theories about what happened before the Big Bang. That's all wild speculation as far as I can tell. Entropy is just an effect. It's just a thing. Yes, entropy always increases. In a closed system, entropy always increases. The end of the universe, the heat death, there's still stuff. There's still quantum foam, but depending on whether neutrons are stable or not, or whether they decay, depends on how, like, we're talking 10 to the power of 10 to the power of 38, 39, billions upon billions of
billions upon billions of years. You've got a while
in the future, when atoms have been pulled apart by the expansion of the universe. You have entropy has reached its maximum, and you can still have movement and quantum foam, but there are no.
Yes, you can. Yes, you can.
There's just subatomic particles. There's photons. There's very little.
No photons. They're all fucking finished.
Well, there's still photons.
No,
yeah, there's like very.
Stella, sorry.
I'll never understand Americans.
Love you, Stella.
No.
So there'll be very low energy photons at the end of the universe. That, like, you cannot get to 0 Kelvin. There is
you can
a fundamental 0 point energy that you cannot get lower that, and that is not, that is just above 0 Kelvin. You physically can't get to 0 Kelvin.
Well, you can if you stop all movement forever.
Well,
I'm just busy identifying with the low energy photons.
If you have,
me and the low energy photons are on the same sort of vibe.
Well, surprise.
So you basically have to have 0 energy, 0, like no energy, no matter, and then you've got nothing. It's like what's the weight of nothing? Nothing.
That's the point. You've got nothing.
But the heat death of the universe, there's still something. Quantum foam is still a thing.
There's not anything. When you've got the heat death of the universe, there's nothing.
That is
not true.
Either version of that is purely theoretical. It's hypothesis on top of hypothesis on top of hypothesis.
Look, one of them holds up.
Look, I tell you what.
I'm not going to say which one.
I plan on living forever. So when I get there, I'll have invented a time machine. I will have invented a time machine. I will finish my meal and head back and tell you what it's like. And if anyone got that reference, high five.
Yeah. Restaurant at the end of the universe. Yeah.
Thank you, Douglas Adams. I knew you'd get it.
I will turn up just in time to say, "Hi guys, look, it's like this."
That whole thing of the restaurant at the end of the universe was when, like, that prophet who suddenly appeared, like, sorry, all sorts of things came up at the last second. How are we for time? Whoosh.
Boosh.
Yeah.
Oh, Gecko, that's an interesting one. Sorry, Gecko's thrown it. Has anyone seen an animation on Netflix called Midnight Gospel? I watched a couple of episodes of it, It's a really trippy animation where they basically have conversations with various people about really abstract areas of science and philosophy. And there's this really trippy animation that goes on while it's happening. I think the style is like, reminds me of Adventure Time. I don't know if it's the same people. I think it is actually the people who created Adventure Time.
Okay.
And so it's Trips. Oh, Gecko, I haven't got to the end actually, so no spoilers. I've watched a couple of episodes, and
Henry's just tripping balls now and just trolling.
That's okay.
It's great.
Henry's just taking
approve.
bong rips and hitting comments. That's fine.
And magic mushies, and I support that.
Yeah.
Oh my god, that just reminded me of the one video AD and I put up of White Knight about 5 years ago, and it's like 4 a.m, and we're walking through this crowd with my camera on a monopod, and I forget who it was, but one of our friends is just, when he saw that bit of video and just the way we've got our teeth clenched and are going through the crowd, he's going, "Ooh, been there."
Yeah. Look, I went to one White Night with my partner at the time. I think it was the first White Night.
Yeah.
And her friends, and it was so packed. It was more packed than any club or rave I had ever been to. And my social anxiety was just
not a good place for social anxiety.
No.
My social anxiety,
it was the worst.
Micely dulled.
Yeah.
I wish I was drunk for it or on some substances, because I wasn't.
The third White Night we went to.
The third one was the good one. The third one was the good one.
Yeah.
The third one we went to, and again we were sponsored. Fuck, we were sponsored that one.
Yeah.
I looked up at a sign and I said, "I wonder why." And Angry said, "For fuck's sake, AG, nothing has to be because of something. Sometimes shit just is. Let it go." You know? Okay. Because they usually don't.
That is solid advice.
It is.
Just usually.
There was that one display with the spinning windmills that had a cycle that lasted about 20 minutes, and I think we were there for 2 hours. Because we were just we were just lying on the grass. One cycle we just had our eyes closed,
awesome. It was
so all we were hearing were the noises.
And no one else was initially. Everyone was just walking through, and we just went, "Oh yeah," and lie down on the grass and like watch this fucking
these lit up windmills spinning around.
And we thought we were there for like 20 minutes. We were there for like 2 hours, and
Yeah.
by the time we got up, everyone else was around us lying down. We were going, "Oh shit, trendsetters!"
You started something.
And somewhere else, I think I needed a piss.
Like everyone else only stayed there for like 5 minutes, and we just zoned out and were there for God knows how long. My other favorite moment was walking down the street.
We take our stuff, and we're gonna do the proper video, and we get 5 or 6 minutes, and the rest of the night's just us being sponsored.
Yeah. My favorite one was we were walking down the street, had the video camera on the monopod, and we're sort of threading through a crowd, and a group of youths thought like we were taking selfies because it was like a selfie stick, and they jumped up and they were very excited because I think they were also sponsored, and they're like, "Going for a selfie?" And there's like 8 of them, and we're like, "Yeah, come in for the selfie." And because I'm shooting video, and I'm just, "Come in for the selfie, come in," and they all crowd in, and I'm going, "Are we ready? 1, 2, 3," and then they all smile and went, "It's a video, you plonkers." And they all laughed. And off they went.
I support calling people plonkers now.
We hooked up with some people, and they hung out with us for a good couple of hours.
Yeah, we're like that. Yeah.
And
but we had some YouTube people. Yeah.
No, they found some girls and bailed.
Yes, they were young-ish men, and then there were
They
some.
were really interested, and they were having a great chat. And then one of them said, "Ooh, check that out." And they all looked and went, "Ooh," and they all fucked off. And we
Yep.
went, "What did they go for?" And we looked at the young ladies and went, "Fair call,
Fair call.
call."
It's like,
Fair
yeah,
call.
these 20-something guys could continue hang out with 40-something guys, or go hang out with some 20-something girls. Tough decision. Tough decision.
Pick one.
Oh.
Pick one.
Yeah.
And the guy
I would
was
have
worried about
ditched you all.
Oh
for that
yeah,
as
no,
well.
in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
in a heartbeat. In a heartbeat. Listen, I'm
But
going to
what-
bail because I've got a
Yeah.
splitting headache and it's not going to go
Oh
away.
no.
And I love
Right.
you all.
Alrighty.
Angry, we
Okay.
better talk more tomorrow about
Yes.
stuff. Which
I'm going to read up about the heat death of the universe and the ground effect.
because I'm right, and it's the
Okay.
time.
We'll see. We'll
Okay.
see.
So where did you study physics?
Okay, so I studied physics at the University of oh shit, how many doctors now? Christ. 4 symposia, fucking bloody all the NASA heads, not the heads of NASA, but the NASA heads.
I know what you mean.
And fucking what's his name? The guy that everyone pronounces his name wrong, deGrasse Tyson, and all of those frigging conferences they have in New York about astrophysics, and also the English habit at the moment of mixing quantum physics with biology. That's a new field.
That
They're
is,
mixing quantum physics with biology,
Quantum biology.
particularly because they're finding that photosynthesis really only works if the light coming into the leaf takes a quantum path into sugar production, which is exciting.
What do you
and
mean
at
by
the same time-
quantum path?
Okay, so the light comes in the leaf, yeah, and
Yes.
basically by the time it bounces around the leaf and starts to hit the chloroplasts to make the sugar, it's lost all of its fucking energy. But if it hits the leaf and quantum tunnels through and hits the chloroplast, it's still got heaps of energy to make the sugar for the plant. It's really efficient, it's really fast, and it's really, it's something that natural selection would do. It's like one of those tricks that natural selection would pull.
So by quantum path, you mean quantum tunneling?
Yeah. Yes.
It's way. Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay.
And
the sun wouldn't be hot without quantum tunneling as well.
They're finding more and more mechanisms within biology that follow the same sorts of things. The thing that's got me very excited is that they're finding more and more quantum reactions within the brain, because with the electromagnetic resonance imaging, your MRI, they're finding that you can see blood flow and shape and all kinds of things, but they're not seeing thought. But with your fMRI, you're seeing thought patterns. And some bright spark at MIT said, what if we put these together? And you can't fMRI and MRI at the same time, because it hurts the person. But you can do it in a rat because it's a rat. and we don't mind killing animals. And basically, the interference that was happening was effectively happening on a quantum level, and they were looking at a very large effect happening on a in a biologically small scale, and so they're starting to think that you know how they've always said that your brain is the mechanics, but mind is somewhere else. They're starting to think that mind is an interference between electromagnetic pathways and areas of brain. Interference patterns caused by switching in the synapses and the dendrites. The interference of those things is what is causing your thoughts to happen. And because they are necessarily measuring themselves every time they manifest, your memories change every time you pull them out of the book. Every time you pull them out of storage, your memory changes. And they know this because they've tested this. And the more you remember something, the more it changes. It's only slight, but it does actually change. And this is also pointing to quantum effects within the brain, which could point to consciousness and could finally nail down what consciousness is.
Well, anyone who's ever said consciousness is somewhere else apart from the brain has either been religious or like woo-woo merchants. It's in the brain.
But you can't point to a bit.
You can't point to it. No, you can't point to it. It's an emergent property. It's an emergent property of a complex neural network.
Emerge. This is how they're saying it might emerge.
Yep. Okay.
So they're saying these actions within the brain, these interferences within the brain and within the dendrites and synapses, these electrical interferences, because what they found with epilepsy was not that it was chaotic. It was that the waves of the brain started to line up. They started to go in like regular waves, and that gives you a whole lot of shaking going on. And basically, when your brain is chaotic, that is normal, peaceful thinking. And when it's quite chaotic to the point of pink and white noise, that's when you're getting your deepest, calmest self going on. So if you're thinking of your messiest brain, that's when you're at your calmest and most relaxed. So that in and of itself is counterintuitive. And so they're looking at this emergent property of how consciousness could be formed. And my consciousness is telling me that I'm fucking about to die, so I've got to go.
I was about to say, you should
better go. Yeah, you should go. I should stop asking you questions. Take care.
Well, that was mid-sentence. There we go.
That was, mid-sentence. So I have no idea what he was just talking about, but it sounds intriguing. And it sounds plausible.
You know what the initial thing I thought about memories changing every time you access them, I'm going, like JPEGs.
Because it's okay. Yes.
Every time you open a JPEG.
Every time you copy them or move them anywhere, or
and you can't necessarily see the difference, but it's there.
Mm-hmm. I remember that from
I love you. Sorry, in the chat there, Federico Rocha, you are absolutely right. Go Trump! Right at it right now. preferably to a court,
See
and
you later.
ultimately a prison. You, my friend, are
Yep.
right on top of it. We are all 100% in team. Go Trump. Go the fuck out of here.
Straight to jail.
Yeah.
Slip down that ramp, straight into jail.
Yeah, that's how you could get him. If you just had a long enough ramp out of the White House, straight to a prison cell, he wouldn't be able to stop, and he'd just walk all the way into the prison cell.
Waddle.
See that time where Joe Biden took the piss out of him by jogging down a ramp?
Yeah.
That was funny.
Yeah. Joe Biden's like a great troll.
He is. He's a weird guy. He's
he's creepy as fuck too. But
I am absolutely going
better
terrible candidate, and I've already seen just absolute hideous cringe from Biden supporters. The internet's going to be so painful for the next couple of years when these people just insist on worshipping Biden like he's a fucking deity when he is a weird, doddery old man who's hung out with racists his whole life. And Annette, that was also a high point in the debate when he just went to Trump, will you shut up, man? And it's just like, what's wrong with you?
I mean, everyone was thinking it. Everyone, even the moderator who was from Fox News was thinking it.
No, that was a shit show. That was embarrassing. That was absolutely embarrassing.
Yeah.
But we'll come back to the speech he gave today.
To answer Henry's question about Jesus, I'm an atheist. I don't think Jesus was a real person.
I think there's enough evidence that the story of Jesus was inspired by some politics about 2,000 years ago.
There's a lot of there's every evidence of Jesus was written like decades after he was supposed to be alive, and a lot of it has been proven to be fraudulent at that.
We see fraudulent news now.
Yeah. Okay. So case in point, Penn and Teller did a bit about this. They tried to get an accurate recipe of one of Elvis Presley's food recipes. It was some kind of lard
sandwich,
bacon. Yeah. And they couldn't find an accurate recipe. They found so many different versions. And this is in an age of like TVs, phones, photographs, mass media, decades later. Imagine what it was like 2,000 years ago.
Oh, yeah.
Like all kinds of
anecdotes.
Yeah. So, like, I mean, he could have been. I don't know. I don't believe. I'm an atheist. I personally wouldn't be surprised if he wasn't a real person, but there's no way to prove it. So it doesn't bug me if people believe Jesus is real. It doesn't concern me.
I think it's plausible that the stories were based on word of mouth, hand-me-down stories about a political situation that happened at about that time in, Palestine where it happened? Henry, you haven't been muted. We're just kind of ignoring you. So, we're actually pretty good at that.
Yeah. You're just like occasionally like tripping balls, but occasionally coming out with gems, Henry. So like
you're kind of background radio.
This is the type of like troll I can get behind. Like not one of those
assholes.
He's
having a bit of fun. It's just like I can do it.
Yeah. And if you're like saying something weird, we just ignore it. So
just trip balls.
Yeah, but no, look, there's like the whole Jesus thing. There are so many religions from thousands of years before the time that mirror exactly the same story. So
yes, like, exactly. It's freaky. The degree.
It's freaky. Yeah. It's almost as if all these natural phenomena had been observed by people, and then what's the word? personified, anthropomorphized into
Yes.
folklore and tales, which became
Yeah.
religion over and over again. And it's
I like the thing Neil Gaiman's used variations of a couple of times. When people believe a thing or when a concept's fundamental to their understanding of the world, in a real sense, it exists just because human brains made it exist. Because they went, we believe a thing, and human existence is all about how the chemicals in your brain process things. So the thing starts to exist because enough people went, yeah, that exists.
Okay. I guess
it's fun fiction.
it's
a fiction.
Sorry, I just laughed at like Henry saying he's locked in the K-hole. I know what that's like. So I was at a rave, and this is not like a good experience, but it happened.
No.
I was at a rave, and I'd bought some pills, and I used to take This is 20 years ago.
Yeah.
And someone sold me ketamine instead of ecstasy.
Oh, no, that's good. That's not good.
That was because I wasn't expecting it. And luckily I had friends. I always had friends. I always had a crew. But it's stuck in the K-hole for like 2 hours, and it felt simultaneously like 10 minutes and 30 days. And I don't know what DXM is.
I had a friend who ingested Datura, which was a plant that grows around Sydney and is a freakishly dangerous hallucinogen. And it's kind of impossible to control your dose. And he basically had a total disconnect from reality. And it kicked at a certain point, something just tripped in his brain, and he didn't recognize anyone around him. And they were in a taxi, I think, and he tried to jump out because he suddenly like, who are you people? Why am I in this car? Have you kidnapped me? And it took like 3 days for him to come. And he was just literally, there was a complete disconnect from reality. He didn't really remember who he was. He didn't recognize anyone. And it says it can send you blind. It can definitely kill you, and it can definitely do permanent damage. It's not a good one.
Yeah, I'll take a hard pass to that.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Oh, Gecko says the dexamorphan. I have actually heard of that.
Oh, okay. Cough suppressant. Okay.
Is that why people use it to make meth? It's like they're buying heaps of that unregulated cough syrup as a base.
Jeez. I've heard of people who...
I think you're right. Datura is also known as angel's trumpet by some people.
Hard pass.
No, it's.
No, I've heard of people who drink cough syrup for the high and then end up in hospital. And my cat is tripping balls right now.
It was on the nip.
I think she's found. No, I think she's found a little. Okay, so my son has ants, an ant nest, and crickets to feed the ants, and a couple of the crickets got away, and I think she's chasing one because she's just pouncing.
Chasing crickets. Okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Yeah, both our cats are immune to the nip because we actually tried it.
I've tried to get fresh catnip for her, and she just wasn't interested. But then I got this catnip spray. Yeah. And at first she like really got into it and tried to like lick it up after I'd sprayed it. But she didn't go crazy or anything. She just wanted to like sit on the spot where I'd sprayed, which was the whole purpose of buying it. And now she just doesn't even register it's there. So I've used a fair bit of it, so maybe I've used it all up. It's in an alcohol solvent, so maybe I've actually used it all.
Yeah. I love the funny pictures see online. Like someone planted catnip in their garden, and then there's a picture of 20 or 30 stoned cats in the driveway.
I remember walking past. I remember walking past so trailer hitched to a car. It was a fully enclosed cage trailer, and there were like 3 people just sitting on another car, just watching this cat desperately trying to get into this cage. And I'm
Yeah.
like looking at it, and they just said, "There's catnip in there." And I'm like, oh my God. So I like stuck around for a couple of minutes watching this cat just trying to get that catnip fix. And it was hilarious. The
Mad
poor
junkie
kitty.
cat trying to
Yeah.
fix. That's not good. Little junkie cats.
She really goes for cat grass. She just eats it.
Okay.
But, yeah, she didn't like the catnip, the fresh catnip.
Okay. Yeah, we tried it on both our cats and they just weren't into it. So that's a. But
Fair enough.
yeah, okay. Well, I think it's bedtime now.
Bedtime. Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah. So, okay, my verdicts, by the way, the 23rd Street Distillery whiskey makes a really good old-fashioned. I might try and make a whiskey sour tomorrow night, just out of boredom, to see what it's like in that. But it's an interesting whiskey. I still think Starwood is better, but the old-fashioned with this was good. So I might make a whiskey sour tomorrow. See what that's like.
Good night,
so, yeah,
everyone.
Good night, everyone. Yeah, it's good to see you, Gecko. I haven't seen you in a little while. Yeah. So look after yourself, everyone. We're trying to have a big party night tomorrow night, maybe, and see what goes down. And in the meantime, look after yourself. Bye for now. Bye. And